So I wanted to start with this big article you wrote yesterday, which has gone pretty viral on the Manchester City sphere. So it's about obviously the charges that City are facing. And obviously at this moment in time, they're preparing evidence to refute very strong accusations from the Premier League that could change the game, really. Do you want to take us through
in
the most succinct way you can?
So there's it's basically an academic paper written by two academics, and one of them's a football finance expert, the other one's a lawyer. They're both at Sheffield Hallam University, and they've just written something in an academic journal about the charges Manchester City are facing and the Premier League and what it kind of means in a wider sense. And, I suppose even the fact that this is being written shows what a huge deal it is, not just within the game of football, but within sport and academia. And because the charges against City are so unprecedented and so enormous and could have such significant consequences, everyone, a lot of people are interested in what's going on and what might happen. And, that was certainly the case when UEFA put their 2-year Champions League ban on City, and then Court of Arbitration for Sport overturned it, and is the case now. Everyone's kind of waiting to see what will happen between the Premier League and City, and also weighing up what has gone down so far. So this paper that I got hold of was just a look basically at what's gone on and at sort of drawing some conclusions from that, really. It's very messy and complicated is the main thing, and it's the article kind of takes you through all the different charges that City are facing and sort of how the severity of the charges means that, it really will take a lot for the Premier League to be able to claim what they are, for the Premier League to be able to prove what they're claiming, basically. But fundamentally, it's going to be a huge issue within football, which we kind of can expect, because it's going to be not just City are waiting for the outcome to this, but other football clubs who are rivals to City and people, within the game. The heads of other leagues will be looking at this. And then you've also got the Premier League is kind of in a battle with other people to try and maintain their regulation of the game. The charges against City were announced the day before a government white paper was set to talk about regulation of football and that kind of thing. And funnily enough, I think yesterday there was news of how the Premier League were going to clamp down on or try and sort of fast track a lot of these cases, and that came at a time when there was something else published from the government on regulation and what an independent regulator would do. So there's all of these little battles going on inside the main battle that is City versus the Premier League, and it's got a lot of people interested. Yeah,
of course. And like you say, when it comes to rivals, you don't really think of that side of things, do you? Because you almost think it's City preparing against the Premier League, which it is, but there are so many other factors here.
Yeah, and you've also got to consider, so when City were at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, I think it was 8 of the other top 10 wrote to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to try and ensure that City couldn't play in the Champions League until the appeal was heard, because they were worried that City were going to sort of delay and keep playing until the case was heard, whereas in actual fact City worked to get it fast-tracked. But that kind of showed that, there was a lot of Premier League clubs who were interested in City sort of getting what they felt was fair, which didn't turn out to be fair. So those same voices will be in account to that. And that is part of the problem that the Premier League face, again, with its kind of regulations and keeping all clubs happy, because if it wants to kind of, it has to be the regulator, but it also has to, work with all these clubs. It's like, David Brent, can I be your boss and your friend? That's the question that it constantly has to answer. And it knows that, while the investigation was going on into City, there will have been a lot of clubs interested in what was happening and when anything might happen. And now, obviously, it's happened with the allegations, but there will still be interest in, when is the case being heard? How long can we expect until we find something? And, if City are guilty, other clubs might have reason to, ask for gains in terms of, they've lost out from a sporting sense if City are found to have been guilty, even though they deny all the allegations. So there is, like I say, there's so much interest in this from everyone in football that it is quite messy.
Yeah, and even when you don't look into the specifics of it, it's quite reassuring for fans, I think, seeing the unity and the strength when it comes from City. Obviously, Khaldoon, Pep's spoken about it as well. And I think outwardly facing, you see that as a Man City fan, you think, oh, we're good here, because they've been so successful in every respect. You expect them to. Yeah,
I think that was it as well. I think when it happened, kind of, there's this kind. I suppose some people from kind of outside City sort of maybe see the fans as just like one unified voice who all fundamentally back the club, whatever happens. And there will be some City fans like that, but there are also a lot of fans who, maybe don't agree with every decision the ownership or the hierarchy take and aren't comfortable with some elements of the ownership. And when you are accused with, such strength by the Premier League, really, there was, plenty of fans who, like any ordinary person would think, well, like, hang on, that sounds bad, that looks bad, what's gone on? But then Guardiola came out with such strength in his press conference and really nailed his colours to the City mast in a way that he's never done before. He's always supported the club, but with the UEFA allegations, he'd always said, if the club are guilty, I'll walk away. Or if I feel I've been lied to. Whereas here he really said, no, I'm staying. I'll be with them in League One. And that kind of reassured.
Imagine that.
Yeah. He said, we'll get Paul Dickoff back and play and we'll be fine. And that, like, reassured everyone around City, I think, that, no, this is a club that is together and fundamentally believes they've not done anything wrong.